What's up, grade 9 learners? We are now on the fourth week of our online discussion in Mathematics 9. For this week, we are going to discuss two lessons. These are Lesson 3, Equations Transformable into Quadratic Equations, and Lesson 4, Problem Solving Involving Quadratic Equations. But before we proceed to the proper discussion of our lesson, let's have a short recap. Last week, we have studied Lesson 2, which is about roots, discriminant, and coefficients. You have learned that the two roots of the quadratic equation are solutions that will make the equation true. And those roots can be rational, irrational, or imaginary numbers, and equal or unequal. You also learned in how to determine the values of the numerical coefficients a, b, and c of a quadratic equation. Lastly, you have acquired the skills on how to solve the discriminant of a quadratic equation, which is used to determine the nature of the roots of a quadratic equation. Let's start our discussion on Lesson 3 by talking about the learning competencies. Here is the learning competency or lesson objective you need to achieve at the end of this week. Solve equations transformable to quadratic equations, including rational algebraic equations. Grab your book for the first quarter and open it on page 175. Here are the suggested steps in solving equations transformable into quadratic equations. Step 1. Determine the least common denominator or LCD of the fractions. Step 2. Multiply all the terms of the equation by the LCD. Step 3. Remove the parentheses if possible. Step 4. Rewrite the quadratic equation in general form. Step 5. Solve the quadratic equation using any of the four different methods. In step 6, check the answer. So here are the 6 suggested steps in solving equations which are transformable into quadratic equations. So let's start example number 1. For example number 1, you are going to solve 90 over x minus 90 over x plus 1 is equal to 1. So before we start our solving, let's copy the given. So 90 over x minus 90 over x plus 1 is equal to 1. So let's apply the first method. Find the LCD of the fractions. So in finding the LCD of a given fraction, let's focus first on their denominators. So the denominator of 90 over x is x. The denominator of the second term, 90 over x plus 1 is x plus 1. And the denominator of the whole number 1 is 1. Again, guys, please remember, any whole number has its own denominator, which is 1. So to find the LCD, let's just find what is common between the three denominators. So after analyzing, there is no common between them. So we are just going to multiply the three denominators. So x times x plus 1 times 1. Then the result will be the LCD. So the LCD is x times x plus 1. Then let's apply step number 2. So for step number 2, we're going to multiply the equation by the LCD, x times x plus 1. So this is the equation. So 90 over x minus 90 over x plus 1 is equal to 1. They are now inside the parentheses. So if we read this one, x times x plus 1 times 90 over x minus 90 over x plus 1 is equal to 1. So what will be the next step? So the next step will be clear the yeah, we are not going to go proceed yet to the step number 3. So hindi pa pala tapos yung step 2, so balik tayo. So yung gagawin natin dito nga class, i-multiply natin yung equation by the LCD. So x times x plus 1, i-erase ko lang yung okay. X times x plus 1 divided by x, the first denominator, then the result will be x plus 1. Then x plus 1 times the numerator. The result will be 90 times x plus 1. Then the next one will be x times x plus 1 divided by the second denominator, which is x plus 1. The quotient will be x. Then multiply the quotient to the numerator, so it will become 9 minus 90 times x. Then equal x times x plus 1. So times 1, the result will be x times x plus 1. Then after natin plus ma-multiply yung LCD sa buong equation or na-distribute na natin siya equally, we are now going to clear the parentheses by multiplying the terms. So erase ulit. Okay, 90 times x plus 1. So, gagamitin natin dito class yung distributive property of multiplication. 90 should be distributed equally to the terms inside the parentheses. So, 90 times x, the answer will be 90x. 90 times 1, the result will be plus 90. Then, minus 90 times x minus 90x is equal to, so x times x plus 1, again, let's apply distributive property. So x times x equals x squared. X times 1, the answer is plus x. Then after that, the next step will be is to simplify the equation by grouping the similar terms. So all the terms that has a variable, pwede siyang isama-sama sa left side or sa right side. Basta i-separate natin yung terms na may variable sa terms na constant lang. So yung kalabasan niya will be 90 is equal to x squared plus x. Bakit ba x? Ito na lang yung natira. Kasi class, kung napansin nyo, we have here 90x minus 90x. So 90 minus 90x, their answer is 0. So yung matitira na lang sa left side is 90. Then for the right side, i-copy na lang natin sa x squared plus x kasi hindi naman siya pwedeng i-combine. Kasi yung isa, yung degree niya is 2, yung isa, degree niya is 1. So hindi sila pwedeng i-combine into 1. So the remaining term will be 90 is equals to x squared plus x. After that, we're going to rewrite the quadratic equation in general form. Because the given is not yet in its general form. So, paano ba ito magiging general form? So, bago natin i-change yan to general form of a quadratic equation, again, what is the general form of a quadratic equation? So, isulat nyo yung answer nyo dyan sa papers nyo. Then, here is the answer. Let's check kung tama ba yung sagot nyo. So, the general form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So for this one to become an equation into its general form, let's just transpose x squared plus x to the left side. So ito transpose lang natin yung term sa right side. So it will become, yung original kasi dyan na lalabas class will be, susulat ko na lang dito, negative x squared minus x plus 90 is equal to 0. Then, ito yung una nating makukuha sa pag-transpose ng x squared plus x. After that, yung gagawin nyo dito, kailangan kasi yung ax squared or yung a natin na numerical coefficient should be positive. So, let's multiply the whole equation by negative 1. So, the result will be negative 1 times negative x squared is x squared. Negative 1 times negative x, the answer is plus x or positive x. Then negative 1 times 90 will be minus 90. Then after that, erase ko naman muna. So hindi pa to yung final answer. We are now going to factor the left side of the equation. So to factor the left side of the equation, so i-apply nyo lang. It's either di ba yung may lessons kayo na factoring ng equations? We have their different methods. We have 4 methods. So the 4 methods are factoring perfect square trinomial, factoring a general trinomial, then factoring sum or difference of two cubes. So hindi naman yan dito applicable. Basta yung lesson nyo ng grade 8 kayo, basta ang masabi ko lang yung general trinomial, perfect square trinomial, yung other na lang. So try to review nyo sa grade 8 lessons nyo, okay? So to factor out x squared plus x minus 9, gagawa lang muna tayo. Hindi ko muna show yung answer. So, 2 set of parentheses. Wherein wala pa siyang laman. Then, let's factor out x squared. So, the square root of x squared, the answer is x. X and x. Then let's analyze what will be the sign between the two terms. Kasi hindi pa natin alam yung second term, unahin muna natin yung sign. So we have here the middle term is plus or addition, plus sign. Then the third term or yung kay 90 is minus. So ano yung masasabi nyo? What will be the sign of the two terms? Is it both plus? Is it both minus or negative or plus minus or minus plus? So the answer will be plus and minus. The next one, let's factor out 90. So to factor out 90 class, kailangan nyo i-apply dito yung tinuro sa inyo nung elementary kayo. I think tinuturo na to eh. Based from the module of my pamangkin na elementary, tinuturo na yung pag-factor out. So to factor out 90 class, ikukunin lang natin yung mga factors niya. For example, 1 and 90, 2 and 45, then 10 and 9, 3 and 30. So, yan class sa mga factors niya. Magpipili kayo ng number wherein pag inad natin or sinubtract natin, makukuha natin yung value na positive 1 kasi plus x yung sa gitna. Pero dito class, yung answer dito is 10 and 9. Bakit ba si 10 and 9 yung pinili? Kasi class 10 times 9, the answer is negative 90. Then dapat ma-meet natin yung numerical coefficient ng middle term. So the numerical coefficient of the middle term is 1. So try natin yung FOIL. X times x, x squared. X times negative 9 is equals to negative 9x. Then 10 times x, the answer is plus 10x. Then 10 times negative 9, the answer is negative 90. The negative 9x plus 10x, the answer is plus x. That's why this is the factor of the left side of the given equation. So is this already the final answer? Not yet. So yung next na gagawin nyo dito class, so after natin siya ma-factor out, we are now going to look for the roots of the given linear equation. Bakit ba nasabi kong linear equation na siya? Kasi pag factor out natin class, mawawala na yung square. So yung remaining na lang na exponent ng given variable na x is 1. So we are now going to equate each factor to 0 or we are going to solve each of the linear equation. So separate natin siyang isa-solve. So the first one will be x plus 10 is equals to 0 and the other one is x minus 9 is equals to 0. So mag-focus muna tayo sa first linear equation. So x plus 10 is equals to 0. Transpose lang natin si plus 10 to the right side, so it will become x is equals to negative 10. Then the other one is x minus 9 is equals to 0. Let's just transpose negative 9 to the right side, so it will become x is equals to positive 9. Therefore, the roots of the given equation 90 over x plus 90 over x plus 1 is equal to 1 are positive 9 and negative 10. So tapos na ba tayo sa pag-solve based on sa ating step-by-step process? I think hindi pa, right? Hindi pa tayo tapos. So ano ba yung kulang? Ano ba yung step na kulang natin? So kulang tayo ng step number 6. So the step number 6, we are going to check the answer kung tama ba siya. So paano ba ipa-perform yung checking? So here is the checking. First, let x is equal to negative 10 and let x is equal to 9. So this is the first root, this is the second root. So paano ba ipa-perform sa checking? Just copy the original equation. So the given original equation is 90 over x minus 90 over x plus 1 is equal to 1. So ano yung gagawin dyan? Substitute the first root to the given original equation. So it will become 90 over negative 10 minus 90 over negative 10 plus 1 is equal to 1. The 90 divided by negative 10, the answer is negative 9. Then 90 divided by negative 10 plus 1, the answer is negative 9. So 90 negative minus 90 over negative 9. Then solve pa natin to, pwede pa ma-simplify. So negative 9 minus 90 divided by negative 9, the answer is negative 10. So negative 9 minus negative 10, it will become negative 9 plus 10 is equal to 1. So negative 9 plus 10, 1 is equal to 1. So it means we are now 100% sure that the first root negative 10 is one of the roots of the given quadratic equation for example 1. Now let's check the second root. So let x is equals to 9. Copy the original equation, substitute the values. So yan na yung kalabasan, 90 over 9 minus 90 over 9 plus 1 is equal to 1. So 90 divided by 9, the answer is 10. minus 90 over 9 plus 1, so 90 over 10. Then divide 90 over 10, it will be 10 minus 9 is equal to 1. So 10 minus 9, the answer is 1. So 1 is equal to 1. So we are now 100% accurate or sure that the second root of the equation, which is equal to 9, is a solution of the given original equation and example number 1. So let's try another example. Example number 2. So for example number 2 class, we are going to solve 16 divided by 3w plus 8 is equals to negative 3w. So copy the given. After that, let's find the LCD of the fraction. So how to find again the LCD? So by finding first the denominator. So the denominator of 16 is 3w. The denominator of a whole number 8 is 1. So understood natin na may denominator siya na 1. Then another whole number, negative 3w, the denominator is 1. So 3w, 1 and 1. So i-multiply na lang natin. 3w times 1 times 1. So the LCD is 3w. After finding the LCD, we're now going to multiply the equation by the LCD 3w. So it will be 3w times 16 over 3w plus 8 is equal to negative 3w. So how are you going to solve this one? So you just simply distribute 3w equally to the terms inside the parentheses. So lagyan ko lang ng parentheses. So 3w times 16 over 3w, the result will be 16 times 3w divided by 3w. After that, 3w times 8, so it will be plus 8 times 3w is equal to 3w times negative 3w, the result will be negative 3w times 3w. So after that, isimplify na natin. So 16 3w divided by 3w. So 3w divided by 3w, the answer is 1. So ang remaining term na lang dyan is 16. So 16 yung matitira. Then plus 8 times 3w, the answer is 24w. Then after that, negative 3w times 3w, the result will be negative 9w squared. So we are already done clearing the parentheses by what method? By multiplying the terms or dividing the terms. After that, we are now going to rewrite the quadratic equation in general form. So how you're going to rewrite this one? Just simply the terms on the right side, transpose it to the left side. So negative 9w squared magiging positive 9w squared plus 24w plus 16 is equal to 0. After that, we are going to factor the left side of the equation. So dito nyo na agad i-apply yung natutunan nyo kung paano yung pag-factor. So for this case class, 9w squared plus 24w plus 16 is a perfect square trinomial. So the result will be 3w plus 4 times 3w plus 4. If you have some doubts regarding the answer I have here, we can use the FOIL method to prove it na tama siya. So 3w times 3w, the answer is 9w squared. Then 3w times 4 is 12w. 4 times 3w, the answer is 12w. So i-add lang natin, the result will be 24w. Then 4 times 4, the answer is 16. So after factoring out, we are now going to equate each factor to 0. So we are going to solve each of the linear equation. So 3w plus 4 is equals to 0. Then 3w plus 4 is equal to 0. They are just the same linear equation. So i-copy nyo na lang yung magiging solution natin dito sa first linear equation. So 3w, transpose natin yung constant to the right side, si plus 4. So it will become 3w is equals to negative 4. Divide both side by positive 3. So 3w divided by 3 and negative 4 divided by 3. So w is equals to negative 4 terms. So same lang sila ng answer. So w is equals to negative 4 thirds. Therefore, the roots of the given equation 16 over 3w plus 8 minus 3w are negative 4 thirds and negative 4 thirds. So let's perform checking. Sa pag-check dito, class, kahit isa lang sa dalawang roots yung gamitin natin kasi equals lang naman. So let W is equal to negative 4 thirds. Copy the original equation. Substitute the values of the first root to the original equation. So it will become 16 over 3 times negative 4 thirds plus 3 times negative 4 thirds is equals to negative 8. Then perform lang natin yung operation. So 16 divided by 3 times negative 4 thirds, pwede nyo dito class multiply lang si 3 times 4, the answer is negative 12, divided by 3, the answer is negative 4. Or just simply kasi 3 siya dyan sa labas, then 3 yung denominator, pwede mo simply as cancel out. Cancel out natin. Kasi may LCD sila na 1, so remaining dyan will be 1 and 1. So magiging 1 times negative 4 divided by 1, the answer is negative 4. So it will be 16 over negative 4 plus 3 times negative 4 thirds. So, cancel out lang natin si 3. The remaining term will be 1 times 4 times negative 4 divided by positive 1. So, the result will be negative 4 is equal to negative 8. So, 16 divided by negative 4, the answer is negative 4 plus negative 4. So, it will be negative 8. So, negative 8 is equals to negative 8. So, we are now 100% sure or accurate that the roots of the quadratic equation or given equation, W is equals to negative 4 thirds is the right answer. So let's remember. Again, here are the suggested steps in solving equations transformable into quadratic equation. Number 1, determine the least common denominator or the LCD of the fractions. Number 2, multiply all the terms of the equations by the LCD. Number 3, remove the parentheses if possible. Number 4, rewrite the quadratic equation in general form. Number 5, solve the quadratic equation using any of the 4 different methods. And number 6, check the answer. Please answer the following for lesson 3. So answer, let's practice on page 178, answer numbers 1 to 3 only. So here is my book. So sa page 178 class, there's a total of 10 item questions or test. But I only gave you 3 numbers only, number 1, number 2, and number 3. So if you are going to solve this, you can base your answer from the step-by-step process or the suggested steps or from the example that I gave you. So good luck in answering. Let's continue. Now we are going to discuss the second part of our lesson for this week, lesson number 4. So lesson number 4 is all about problem solving involving quadratic equations. So here is the most essential learning competency or the lesson objectives you need to achieve at the end of this week for lesson 4. Solve problems involving quadratic equations and rational algebraic equations. So, grab your book for the first quarter and open it on page 179. So, in page 179, class, kung napansin nyo dyan sa book nyo, yung opening pa lang are the steps in solving verbal or word problems. Kasi nga, yung lesson 4 natin is all about problem solving. Wherein yung mga given natin na problem, real word problem or mathematics problem, will be in the form of a in the form of a verbal or word problem. Para siyang problem siya, statement. Where ni-analyze natin siya step by step para mag-gather natin yung given, what is missing, what will be the formula to use, ano yung step by step process para ma-solve siya. So let's recall the steps. So number 1, we have here, read the problem thoroughly and gather the necessary information. Number 2, identify what is or are asked. So ito yung missing. Number 3, represent the unknown quantities with algebraic expressions based on the information. So class, pag nagsusolve tayo ng real word or verbal problems, we need to give a representation or denotation for each quantities na unknown. For example, age ng little brother mo. So, let X be the age of your little brother pag nagsusolve na kayo sa math, right? Hindi naman pwede lagyan mo the little brother is equals. Pwede naman gamitan lang ng isang variable. Okay, let's continue. Formulate the equation. Number 5, determine the solution set or roots of the equation. And number 6, check the roots. So, we are now going to apply these steps in solving verbal or word problems kasi mas madali nyo siyang maintindihan pag in-apply na siya sa pag-solve. So, let's try example number 1. For example 1, here is the problem. The product of two numbers is 18 and their sum is 9. Find the numbers. Again, the product of two numbers is 18 and their sum is 9. Find the numbers. So solution, here is the representation. Let x is equal to one number and let 9 minus x equal to the other number. So, saan ba galing tong equation dito or yung representation na meron tayo dito? So, again, we have here the product of two numbers is 18 and their sum is 9. Right? So, find the numbers. So, class, based dito sa ating given, we have two numbers. So, the two numbers class, yung product nila, pag minultiply natin is 18. Then yung magiging sum naman kung inad natin yung dalawang numbers is 9. So hanapin natin kung ano yung number. So the first term here class, the one number is x. Then the other one is 9 minus x. So after natin makuha yung representation, itong representation of the class is based from the verbal problem or word problem. So let's find the number. So the equation is, so para makuha natin yung equation class, dito na ulit tayo again magbe-base. Dito lang tayo magbe-base sa given problem. So x times 9 minus x. Bakit ba minultiply yung two numbers? Again, si x the first number, 9 minus x the other number. So, x times 9 minus x is equals to 18. Bakit ba equals to 18? Kasi sabi nga dito, the product of the two numbers is 18. Dahil dito, makakabuo tayo ng equation. So, pag minultiply natin yung first number which is x and the second number or other number which is 9 minus x, then, yung product daw nila is 18. So, equals to 18. Diyan yun nanggaling yung idea para makuha yung equation. After getting the equation class, use the distributive property and write the equation in general form. So, x times 9, so i-distribute lang natin, x times 9, the answer is 9x. Then, x times negative x, the answer is negative x squared. Then, copy na lang natin is equal to 18. So, 9x minus x squared is equal to 18. Then, change it to its general form. So, itatranspose muna natin si 18 to the left side. So, it will become negative x squared plus 9x minus 18. Kung napansin nyo dito, class, si 9x minus x squared, pinalitan natin yung place nilang dalawa. Nauna dapat sa x squared kasi dun tayo magbe-base again sa general form ng quadratic equation. So, kailangan natin i-arrange siya properly. So, mauuna yung quadratic term sa linear term. So, negative x squared plus 9x minus 18. So, again, class, ang sabi ko kanina, hindi pwedeng maging negative yung numerical coefficient ng quadratic term. So, yung negative x squared plus 9x minus 18, multiply natin sila kay negative 1. So, by multiplying it to negative 1, the result will be negative 1 times negative x squared is x squared. Negative 1 times positive 9x, the answer is negative 9x. Then negative 1 times negative 18, the answer is 18. So, here is the general form of the quadratic equation. So, hindi pa tayo tapos sa pag-solve. We are now going to factor out the quadratic equation on the left side. So, we factor out na natin si x squared minus 9x plus 18. So, the factor is x minus 3 times x minus 6. Again, kung may doubt kayo sa answer ko dito, pwede nyo i-apply yung FOIL method. So, x times x squared. X times negative 6, negative 6x, negative 3 times x, negative 3x, negative 6x plus negative 3x, the answer is negative 9x. Then negative 3 times negative 6, the answer is plus 18 or positive 18. So this is the factored form. After that, i-separate natin yung two linear equation. Yung two linear equations class is separate natin, then isolve. So x minus 3 is equals to 0. X minus 6 is equals to 0. Solve muna natin yung first linear term by transposing the negative 3 to the right side. So, the x is equals to positive 3. So, same lang sa second linear term, i-transpose natin si negative 6. So, the result will be x is equals to 6. So, the solution set is 3, 6. Answer. The numbers are 3 and 6. So, meron na tayong answer. So, the two numbers that we are looking for based from the problem are 3 or positive 3 and positive 6. So, sure na ba tayo sa answer na nakuha natin? So, for us to be 100% sure, let's perform the checking. So, x is equals to 3. Copy the original equation, so x times 9 minus x equals to 18. Substitute the value of 3 to the given equation, so 3 times 9 minus 3 is equal to 18. 3 times 9, 9 minus 3, the answer is 6. 3 times 6, the answer is 18. So 18 is equals to 18. Same way naman dito sa kabila, ganun din, so true siya. Pero there are other ways for us to check if our answer is correct. So for example here, sabi dito, the product of two numbers is 18. So 3 times 6, the answer is 18. Then ang sabi naman, their sum is 9. So 3 plus 6, the answer is 9. So nasunod niya yung condition ng ating word problem. So let's try another example. So for example number 2, we have here Mark and Ben can finish cleaning the backyard in 2 hours. If Mark, working alone, takes 3 hours longer than what when Ben does it by himself, how many hours will each boy finish the work alone? So here is our solution. So here is the explanation, class. If we represent the number of hours it takes Ben to do the job by x, then it takes Mark x plus 3 hours to do the job. The rate of Mark and Ben doing are 1 over x plus 3 and 1 over x respectively. Study the table. So we have here class the table para much easier to solve. So for Ben, Ben and Mark, time to finish the job, rate of doing the job. So we have here time to finish the job for Ben is x. It is represented by x. Then for Mark to finish the job is x plus 3. It is represented by x plus 3. So saan ba galing yung plus 3? Right? Si x kasi si Ben. So Mark and Ben can finish cleaning the backyard in 2 hours. If Mark working alone takes 3 hours longer than Ben. Si Mark daw kasi class, kung magsosulo siya sa pag-work niya, it will take 3 hours longer. Mas matagal siya ng 3 hours kaysa kay Ben. Kung si Ben naman, gagawin din yung pag-work niya siya lang mismo mag-isa. So dito yung kaya ang representation natin kay Ben is X lang kasi kung mag-isa siya, hindi natin alam, hours lang siya. Wala siyang hindi siya kinumpare kay Mark. Pero si Mark kasi class, kinumpare natin siya kay Ben. So magiging X plus 3. Bakit ba may plus 3? Kasi nga dito, 3 hours longer than when Ben does it alone. Si Ben nga kasi is represented by X. Dahil mas matagal si Mark ng 3 hours kay Ben, so magiging X plus 3 siya. Then pag i-combine natin, magiging 2. Bakit ba 2? Kasi nga, Mark and Ben can finish cleaning the backyard in 2 hours. So let's find the rate. So to find the rate, just simply find the reciprocal. So x, 1 over x plus 3, 1 over x plus 3, then 2 is 1 half. The formulated equation based on the table is, so plus yung gagamitin natin dito para makagawa ng equation is the rate of doing the job. So magiging 1 over x plus 1 over x plus 3 is equals to 1 half. Then multiply both sides of the equation by the LCD. So how to find the LCD? So mag-focus tayo sa denominator. So we have here x plus 3, and 2. So ano ba yung gagawin dito class? Kasi nga wala namang common sa kanila, para makuha yung LCD, just multiply the 3 terms. So x times x plus 3 times 2, so the result will be 2x times x plus 3. Wait lang ha, nagdi-disconnect yung mouse ko. Okay, let's continue. Sorry guys sa part na nag-stop ako kasi nag-disconnect yung gaming mouse ko. So let's continue class. Yung gagawin nga dito natin, nakuha na natin yung LCD na 2x times x plus 3. We're now going multiply both sides of the equation by the LCD. So yung buong equation kasi mo-multiply na lang natin siya kay LCD. So yung kalabasan niya, 1 over x plus 1 over x plus 3 is equals to 1 half times 2x times x plus 3. Then i-distribute lang natin, i-divide muna natin yung LCD sa denominator, then multiply kay numerator. So 2x times x plus 3 divided by x. So the remaining term will be 2 times x plus 3, then times 1. So the result will be 2x times x plus 3. Erase ko muna ha. So ito yung kalabasan niya. Then 2x times x plus 3 divided by x plus 3. The remaining term will be 2x. So 2x times 1, the answer is plus 2x. Then erase ko ulit. 2x times x plus 3 divided by 2. The remaining term will be x times x plus 3 times 1. So ito yung kalabasan niya. 2o times x plus 3 plus 2x equals to x times x plus 3. Then the next step will be clear the parentheses. So paano ba makiklear yung parentheses dito? By performing multiplication. So 2 times x plus 3. So distribute natin equally si 2 kay x plus 3. So 2 times x, the answer is 2x. 2 times 3, the answer is plus 6. Then, copy na lang si plus 2x kasi wala na kailangan isolve yan sa kanya. Dito naman tayo sa right side. So, x times x, the answer is x squared. X times 3, the answer is plus 3x. Then, after that class, we're going to group the similar terms. So, it will be x squared, i-transpose natin, magiging negative x squared. Then, copy C, 2x plus 2x, the answer is 4x. Then, 3x, i-transpose sa left side, magiging negative 3x. Then, copy na lang si plus 6. After that, i-simplify pa natin kasi meron pang common term which is 4x and negative 3x. So, 4x minus 3x, the answer is plus x. So, yung kalabasan dito sa next line ng solution will be negative x squared plus x plus 6 is equals to 0. Again, class, hindi pwedeng may negative sign tayo or negative yung ating a sa quadratic term. So, multiply the whole equation by negative 1. So, negative 1 times negative x squared, the answer is x squared. Negative 1 times positive x, the answer is negative x. The negative 1 times positive 6, the answer is negative 6. So, the result will be x squared minus x minus 6 is equals to 0. After that, hindi pa tayo tapos class. Let's factor out the left side. So, the factor of x squared minus x minus 6 is x minus 3 times x plus 2. After natin siya ma-factor out, let's solve separately the two linear equations. So, it will become x minus 3 is equal to 0, and the other one is x plus 2 is equal to 0. So, sa first linear equation muna tayo, magiging x is equals to 3 kasi si negative 3 to transpose lang papuntang right side. So, the answer is x is equals to 3. Then the other one, i-transpose lang natin si plus 2 to the right side. So, it will become x is equals to negative 2. Dahil nga dito, bakit ba kung napansin nyo, ano yung naging conclusion ko dito? We take only x is equals to 3. Kasi class, there is no such time na negative 2. May oras ba na negative 2 hours? Di ba wala? So, yung kukunin lang natin dito result class ng roots of the equation is positive 3. So, we take only x is equals to 3. Kasi nasa real life problem to, wala namang negative 2 hours sa real life problem. So, the next step will be, so, ito na, kukunin na natin yung pinaka-right answer. Di ba nakuha na natin yung roots? Sa dalawang roots na nakuha natin class, if you notice, the other one is positive, the other one is negative. But we are talking about in the real life the number of hours. So, we are just going to take the positive number, which is 3. Then after that, based dun sa equation, di ba may ginawa tayong equation kanina, si x represents yung time ni Ben. Or Ben spent time for finishing the work. So, Ben is equals to x. So, yung nakuha nating value ni x is x equals 3. So, it means Ben spent time for finishing the work is 3 hours. Or it takes 3 hours for Ben to finish the work. And the other one naman, Mark spent time for finishing the work. So, ano yung equation natin doon kanina? So, equation natin kay Mark is equals to x plus 3. So, let x be equal to 3. Substitute the value. So, Mark is equals to 3 plus 3. Mark is equals to 6. It takes 6 hours for Mark to finish the work. So, that is the final answer. So, it takes 3 hours for Ben to finish the work and it takes 6 hours for Mark to finish the work. Ito yung medyo complicated pag word problem or real word problem yung given. Kasi you need to interpret the problem, analyze it carefully. You need to take the given, take what is asked or what are being asked in the problem. After that, you are going to analyze, make a representation, then make an equation. Then i-apply nyo na. Kasi nga, yung topic naman natin is problem solving involving quadratic equation. So, i-expect nyo na yung mabubuo nating equation will be a quadratic equation. Then, dun nyo na i-apply kung ano man yung tutunan nyo sa pag-solve ng quadratic equation from our past lessons, yung 4 different methods, right? I-apply nyo lang siya, makukuha nyo yung answer na kailangan nyo. Pero yung answer or roots na makukuha nyo class, hindi ka pa sure kung yan na yung final answer kasi nakadepende siya sa problem. If you notice dito sa example last example natin, di ba hindi, porkat nakuha na natin si roots na equation na 3, then other one is negative. Then, napansin nyo, bakit ba positive 3 lang yung kinuha ni sir? Kasi nga, we are talking about a real world problems. It means yung positive lang yung kukunin natin kasi we are talking about the number of hours. There's no such thing as negative 2 hours or negative 2, right? So, gagawin na natin si positive 3, then ibabalik tayo dun sa equation na nabuo natin kanina. Wherein yung equation na yun, yung ben represented by x, ito na yung magiging equation para makuha natin yung pinaka-final answer. So, which results nga dito. Same way sa kay Mark. So, that's all class for lesson number 4 and lesson number 3. I know lesson 3 and lesson 4, lesson 3 medyo okay siya, si lesson 4 medyo complicated kasi you need to use your, hindi lang siya kasi siya basta-basta solving or problem solving. Kasi dito sa mathematics, pag real world problem na yung pinag-uusapan, you need to have these skills in comprehension. Reading with comprehension, then idadagdag natin si problem solving. Kasi sa mga word problem class, dito nyo matcha-challenge talaga yung sarili nyo. Have you really understood the concept? Have you really understood the lesson? Or kasi kung masasanay lang kayo sa mga given ng 1 plus 1, 2 plus 1, 3 plus 1, 4 plus 1, yung mga ganyan lang, yung word problem kasi class, binibase yan nga, sabi ko nga kanina, real life word problem. In case you meet a problem sa real life, okay, hindi nyo naman talaga sinusolve ng parang mathematically. Well, time will come. Time will come that you are going to apply this kind of method. It's depende yan sa sitwasyon, pero alam mo class, time will come. You are going to apply this one. Okay? So, let's remember, suggested steps in solving verbal or word problems. Again, i-repeat natin yung step. Read the problem thoroughly and gather the necessary information. Ano yung necessary information? So, ito yung isa doon. What is or what are asked? What are the given? And what are the clue words doon sa problem na magbibigay sa iyo ng idea kung paano ba siya isosolve. Then step 3, represent the unknown quantities with algebra expressions based on the information. So you can use any variable or any letter for the variable. Pwedeng A, B, C, X, Y, Z, W. It depende sa inyo kung ano yung trick nyo. And number 4, formulate the equation. So, saan ba manggagaling yung mapo-formulate natin na equation? So, dun siya class natin i-base class sa ating sa step number 1 and step number 2. Yung pag-formulate natin ng equation. Pati step 3. Kasi nga, step 1, 2, 3, 4. So, kung successful kayo kay step 1, step 2, step 3, si pag-formulate na equation, madali na lang. Then, step number 5, determine the solution set or roots of the equation. So, kanina nga, kung napansin nyo, sa pag-solve natin, di ba, yung hinahanap talaga natin is roots of the equation. Bakit ba roots of the equation? Kasi nga, yung topic natin or yung mga problem na isusolve natin involves a quadratic equation. Then, number 6, check the roots based on the given problem. So, I will make one more thing clear ha. Kasi namali ako kanina sa pag-explain. So, sorry lang. Regarding doon class sa itong step na yung determine the solution, yung determine the roots class. So, yung sinabi dong 4 methods class para makuha yung roots ng quadratic equation, yun yung diniscuss natin ng first week at second week. Di ba yung first week tinuruan ko yung ng method 1, method 2, second week method 3, method 4. So, depende sa inyo class. Kaya dito nyo na i-apply yung natutunan nyo last time. Kung which of this method yung comfortable kayo sa pag-solve ng quadratic equation. It's either extracting the square root, factoring, completing the square, or using the quadratic formula. So, you have your choice. Which of the four method ba yung easier to use para sa inyo or pinaka-applicable para sa problem? Yun yung pipiliin nyo para sa pag-solve ng mga word problem or yung kaninang lesson natin. Yung sa lesson 3. Yung pag-transform, then kukunin nyo na yung root. So, you have your choice. Which of the 4 method yung pinaka-easier para sa inyo or pinaka-madaling intindihin at gamitin. Okay, here's the activity that you need to answer. Let's practice on page 182, answer numbers 1 to 5 only. So, for lesson 3, you need to answer only 3 items and for lesson 4, 5 items only. So, this is the end of lesson number 4. Thank you for listening and thank you for coping up with our lessons for this week since the day 1 ng ating discussion. Then, please, if kung may makakatulong sa inyo, lalo nandiyan sa word problem, pwede kayong magpatulong kay brother nyo. Pero magpatulong lang ha, huwag pasagutan. I know you can do it class. Kaya nyo yung lesson number 4. So, good luck in answering and God bless.